Hey guys, welcome back. It's your boy Alex, and yeah, today I was gonna make a video, talking about three of the biggest things I think to help me become more consistent and profitable in my trading. I've noticed I'm not saying consistently profitable, not because I'm not consistently profitable, but because I think consistently profitable is a misnomer in trading. I think it's one of the most dangerous um things ever, like phrases let loose on the trading community, because like I just think it gives a really false perception of what it means to be actually consistently profitable as a trader, right? But anyway, so I was gonna make that video, but then I opened up the charts and decided, nah, we're not making that video today. We're gonna make a live trading video. Um, we can make the other video next time. Right here, I want to make a trading video. I'm trying to make, I think the number is 125, 125. It's 180. Ah, I'm trying to make like a certain minimum amount. We'll risk 300. Maybe 200. We'll probably risk 200 on this trade. I just have to be quick, guys. I'll talk you through this trade in a second. Why this trade is like a good trade, like win or lose, right? In 1 second here. Number is probably right. 27. I wanna go back here. If I wanna get back here, it's probably fine as well. It's more of like a two. I'm really calculating like here, so it's more like a 2 hour trade. News changes everything. God damn it. You have to look at the it doesn't necessarily change the trade here, but I'm looking at it. Mm. 48 hours to bombs ground attack. Market goes to hell. Doesn't change anything. Oh God, I'm just deciding on like the risk here. Because it really should be a 2 hour trade. Problem is I want a bid much better price, I think. Oh, or I want it to be here. I think it'll get back to here. I want it to be double. Mm. The high here. Right. R is 200 from this point. Late. I'm being patient though. Like, I'm not. But you can see I'm annoyed. I would have liked to have it at like 675. The reason why I was hesitating is because you really shouldn't have profit targets like when you're trading. Really shouldn't have like profit goals like when you're trading. But I'm like calculating like, oh no, I was calculating like I was trying to martingale a little bit here, because I had taken like a 180 loss like prior, and I was like, I kind of want to like, have a green on it, but this I forgot that like the day had passed. I'm trading like a prop account here, right? That I'm basically like guaranteed to pass. If I just trade, not awfully here, and like I passed the profit goal, the profit target, and everything already, but they force you to kind of like, trade a couple days, right? And the markets are like a bit closed, but obviously crypto, open 24/7, right? And I wanted like to have like a profitable day, so like that timer could go. And I was like, the reason I was calculating the 180 is because I was just like, oh, like, do I need to make that back? But I forgot the day had passed. Therefore, like it would still count as like a profitable day without like having to make back like that loss, which you shouldn't trade like that anyways, right? But it's just like this is why it's like so important. It's just so important to like, especially like when you're scalping like me as a momentum scalper, it's so important to be like quick, that be like up half hour, like 1 hour already. The number really should have been like, it should have been about this. No, it should have been like 125. 125 is the number, so 200 would have been right. um 200 would have been right, and this would have been okay. I mean, I guess, because I'm calculating, it can go to 67. Obviously, it can crash below there, like very much so, right? The 6 7 number, it was probably right. This number here was probably right. 0.6 0.7. Um, so a little bit annoying, and then I'm just like unwilling to chase. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Also, it's not a trade that I like distinctly plan, but in the meantime, while we're waiting, maybe it gives us back up an entry, somewhere at like 65. Anything above like 67, 3 4 is like good for me. But in the meantime, let's talk about why this is a good trade. All right. By the way, I did not want to trade, let's talk about why it's a good trade, right? So, what it's all about context, guys. Context, context, context. So like what's been happening in the markets recently, right? And we can see here, if you guys want to know, even when it comes to crypto, like almost everything it follows the stock market, right? So usually the pattern is, stock market crumbles, everything one crumbles in the follows, stock markets the dog, everything else is the tail, right? That's not with everything, and you have to kind of understand the correlations, but when it comes to crypto, that's more or less the truth, right? As of recent anyways, right? So it's context, right? What's been happening in the markets in the last couple of days, right? And I've been trading it actively, so I'm very, very involved. Like almost like every 50-point move, I like have context of what's been happening, right? So we've had this like war, right? And we've had this war, and this like, and the market does not like it at all, right? Like, so you can see, um not that we've been off like all-time highs for quite some time now, but just based off like the uncertainty, of this war, and other various factors, the market's really kind of been chopping. And then based off of all the news around this war, all these tweets, the tweets and stuff like that, it's really kind of been falling. So if you look, and I'm trying to start it off from like the night here, I think, don't want to lie, I think this was the uh, which one was it? Has to be this one. You see, I'm not even looking at dates. That's just how like, I'm like familiar I am with the chart, right? It's crazy that I look at it, but it's true. I think this was the night Trump made in his like speech, right? So we've been having choppy, terrible price action, since that whole time, mostly going down. This was the Trump. Don't want to lie, bro. It looks like it, but this is the insane rally. This is the consolidation. Um, this is the puke from the night before. Yeah. All right. So I was in this move here, roughly, like pretty much this whole move, right? So, this was the night Trump, Trump had a speech. What is he announced to the American people? They thought it was going to be the end of the war, boots on the ground, something. turned out to be a huge confusion, cluster, whatever, right? Anyways, predictable market dump because not the hopeful news that they got. And since that time, the market, I think this was probably like one of the biggest down moves we see in the market, like especially like outside of market hours in like probably like well for sure the whole year, but for sure like maybe like the last even 2 years, right? Um, so a gigantic market dump, and since that time, that announcement, of this whole like war, whether it be escalation or not, right? It's just been like this huge just choppiness. So we had this down move pretty much into the whole night, looked like a total panic sell. And I can go on here to the daily, right? Or the 4 hour, maybe it gives you the picture a little bit more clearly. Looks like we're heading to like oblivion. We've taken out like key supports, we've left the like high ranging levels, right? And we're just going down, right? And the action is similar across like almost all markets. You can look at gold, which debatably was already in like a downtrend, but one of the more thrashing moves there that night, right? And so we had that move, right? And then in the morning, right? Like almost like a spring or or like magic, right? Like the market just decided to rally aggressively. One of the best market day I think in the last 2 years for sure is what was announced. Like just this aggressive rally, right? And now comes to this trade, right? Since Thursday, and obviously Friday was a holiday, we just had this like range in price action, range in between 24 8, really just pinned there basically, right? And so that brings us back to our Bitcoin trade, right? Um, that brings us back to our Bitcoin trade. What do we see on Bitcoin? Almost the exact same thing, right? Like just kind of it looks a little bit more choppy, but if you understand Bitcoin, you understand like being pinned at like a key level like 67 is very Bitcoin-esque, right? Um, so we've just had that, right? And so it's just been like this range. And so like when you see a huge move like that, like outside of this range, it looks abnormal. It looks like you should go long. But in truth and in actuality, right, if you zoom out a little bit, right, if it looks different like when you're zoomed in, right? If you zoom out a little bit, right, what do you see? It's just like one big range, right? And actually, like this spike here, which I guess probably was helped by that news a while ago or something, right? It's just like one, ginormous like deviation, like outside of the range. So odds are actually you can short this move here and your risk management up to you, but you can short it here for like 67.8 or 16.68 with a fairly decent chance that like it will come back within the range at some point in time, today, if not tomorrow. For me, I'm a more of a short-term trader. I'm a short-term scalper, right? So you have like 50% or above odds, right, that it will return to its like range price action. Why? Because right, Bitcoin, as of recent, has been following the stock market. Stock market is closed, right? All we've had, from the stock market for the last day was just massive consolidation. Bitcoin trades 24/7, so it has the opportunity to have more volatility. But those correlations, are pinned by like big institutions and like big players that they're the ones that really have the ability to move the market. When you see moves like this outside of key levels like those are mostly manipulation moves, right? Mostly not even manipulation move, but like moves with like less liquidity where you can expect it to come back within the price levels where people are actually like willing to buy and sell it, right? So this was a high probability trade just from like just by going like outside of this range significantly, even though it looks like the beginning of like a crazy uptrend. And it could be, right? Trading is all about like odds and probabilities, right? Nothing is ever a guaranteed or a fixed thing. But right, what you do as a trader is you take the trades that where the odds are on your side, and over time, if you do that enough, if you do that over the course of maybe this one trade loses, but if you do a trade like that, over the next 10 trades, 20 trades, right? More of your trades will make money than will lose because you're putting the odds on your side. We're not relying on luck, we're relying on odds and probabilities. And that goes into the next video that I wanted, the video that I originally wanted to make. But This video is already a bit long here. I kind of just want to give you guys um a little update, key things about like how I think about things. It would have been nice to like catch a trade here nonetheless. I'm happy to trade up like at like 67.5. I'm a little bit less happy to do it here just because it probably now goes into more like 1 hour territory, and it was just like it was just it took a little bit too long just to calculate my risk because I wasn't planning to do nothing. I just like woke up and saw the opportunity. But that's how it goes with trading. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one where we continue this challenge. I'm on this challenge to pass these funded accounts, right? I don't believe in funded accounts generally. I typically trade my own money, but if you can have them for leverage, you can. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys, if you want to follow my journey, get more tips on like, what I'm doing, what it takes to be consistently profitable. I hate that. I hate those words. I hate it. Like what it takes to be a profitable trader, bro. Right? So all right, guys, peace out, and I will see you in the next one.